That's off. Yep, that is on. Woo, we got people here. All right, Elite Osa, hello. Brahim, hello. Let's see. Hamida, hello. Boom, hello. Who else? Because I'm sure there's more people. AIR Ryan, hello. Lucky Mallow, hello. Blip Blop, hello. Bad Gamers, hello. There we go. Yeah. I'm here. All right. I'm here. Hello. Okay. Martiste, hello. Fresh is here. What did you do with Melvin? I ate him. GB official, hello. Carlos, hello. KKFG, hello. Zilier says yes. Beautiful. I love it. All right, so guys, today is going to be about equipments. I don't know. I feel very, very like awake yet extremely tired. It's DBL has been messing with my brain. Yo, Youssef, hello. How you guys doing? All right, so today we're gonna go over equipments because I think equipments are extremely complicated at cases in some cases, and that can like really mess you guys up. I'm gonna bring up something that I need for reference when I talk to you guys about equipments. It will just help me make sense fully of what I need to do for you guys when it comes to talking about equipments, because equipments for the most part make sense. For the most part aren't that complicated, but there's a couple of things that I'm going to talk about today that may or may not go over your head. If it goes over your head, don't worry about it. You don't have to understand that part to understand everything else, or to even understand that single thing that might go over your head. What you really just need to know is what you can do to optimize equipment, and I can easily teach that. So don't worry, in case that something doesn't make sense, we can always go over it. You finally beat the stage for LF Goku? GG, Ryan, good job. John says, I am here. Welcome. I'm early for the first time? Yes, you are, KK. Gionis says, hi, hello. Say, look. I got you guys. Don't worry. I know. Okay, 1 second. I just need to... I get excited whenever I make a video. I tend to reel myself back though, because if I don't, I go a little hyper crazy. Like if you've ever watched one of my earlier videos, I was way too excited. And that is more real than what I do now. But I've had to like pull myself back, because whenever I don't, it gets a little too intense. So, here we are. Let's do this. Alrighty. Alright, so let's talk about equipments, because it's time. Did I spell equipments right? I don't know. Is it with an E or without an E? I'm too French for my own good. Equipment. Oh, they just don't like the triple exclamation point. No, they do. Fine. Equipment. Let's see. LF Green, Vegeta made short work of booing the LF Goku. Yep. Yesterday got my first Z equipment. GG God Gamers. Nairo says hello. Oh, well, Nairo gives me the smiley face. All right. Can you teach me how to level up equipment to Z plus, Dad? I can try. Yes. I remember Zenkai are Z tier because they start with the letter Z. High quality content. Oh my god, you watched that video. KKFG, watch the why Zenkais are Z tier. Love it. Oh my god, I don't... Emily, was that your doing or my doing, or was that a multiple, like, mixture of doings? We worked on it together. Like, literally, Emily and I were scrambling for an idea of what to make as a poop video, and then that happened, and I don't regret it to this day. But yes, we will go over how to make like Z plus like equip. So don't worry, okay? So let me just actually go into my game as well, because I'm going to use it as reference. I'll also bring it up for you guys in case that you have an interest. Okay, that's connected properly. Okay, proper. That's good and proper. And then we're going to get started. Sorry, there's a lot of setup, but once we actually get started, I'll cover a ton of things for you guys, so don't worry. And today, the reason why we're doing a learning thing is because I'm going to start from now on, after this stream, to do a whole bunch of community polls so you guys can decide what my next stream is going to look like. And obviously I'm going to give you multiple choice. And the reason why I'm going to do that is, as much as I like teaching you guys things, I also want you guys to like have breaks too from just constant learning. So it is nice to just dive into just mundane gameplay and just chill and not always have to listen to me drone on about how this is important. If you don't do this, you're gonna suck at the game. And sometimes it's just nice to just sit there and be like, I'm a scrub. And it's okay, you know? So let's just, but I'm gonna let you guys know. Did you just say Z? Yes, Z. Dragon Ball Z. Exactly. What's with the screen, bro? Easy. I'm going to start typing in it, and you guys are going to have access to this. So don't worry, okay? All right, so let's go over how equipments work, because I think equipment guides are kind of important. All right, so why are equips important? Does anyone know why equips are important? I know Nairo could answer this question easily, but can anyone else answer this question? Equipment. Real talk. It just says nyeh, nyeh, and then dab. I think that's what that is. Hey, why was my comment deleted? I'm not sure, Yusef. Well, which comment got deleted? I don't see any comment that was deleted of yours. I'm not sure. I requested Phil to make a video on which special move should we use with Shallot. Oh, that's a beautiful. Let me write that down. Yo, Yusef, thank you for that. That's a beautiful suggestion for. Here, let me take that down. Shallot plus special move video. Great idea, actually, Yusuf. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I don't know why that got deleted. It's possible that it got held. Like, YouTube is very weird. Sometimes they will just like hold something for review because it thinks that you said something improper, and it's like the line, I like the way you smile, and be like, is that sexual harassment? And I'm gonna be like, I don't think so, YouTube, but I guess you consider it that. I know that Emily would write a lot of things, and it would get held for review, and I'm just like, Emily, stop being so explicit. She's like, I'm not being explicit. And I'm like, does YouTube think you're explicit? Probably. Okay. All right. So anyways, why are quips important? Let's see. Does anyone know? Does anyone know why equips are important? And also, no problem, Yusuf. It boosts damage. Anything else? Because you're not wrong. It does boost damage. It boosts damage. There you go. No, don't. There you go. Boost damage. There we go. What else does it do? I really want to see what you guys know, and the reason for it is I need to see how much I need to cover. Stat boosts in general. Stat boosts in general. All right, what else? Because equips make your team look saucy. Saucy looking teams. All right. Equips are used for stat boosts. Love it. Yep, that is stat boosts in general. Yep, love it. It helps the character. It makes the character fly like a G6, but unconfirmed. Confirmed as nothing can fly like a G6. There we go. Just want to make sure, because guys, nothing can be as fly as a G6. Being as fly as a G6 would be unfounded, as you're not an airplane. But otherwise, this is totally legit. Yeah, so your character could be fly as a G6, but in the concept, in the theoretical, never actually. Base health, I love that. Oyola, that's awesome. Base health increase, which is stats in general, but it's important to mention that. So, it also can help with health restorations. And we're going to get into that because health restoration buffs are important. All right, so let's actually now like go over boost. Yep. All right. So we know the basics. That's good. We know the basics of why equipments are important. What about a G7 though? Listen, I'm living back in the era of 2010 to 2012, okay? This was when Nicki Minaj first claimed that she was as fly as a G6, which turned out to be false, okay? She was not as fly as a G6. She was a regular human being. And that disappointed a lot of people, okay? Especially the people that were very interested in aviation and how things fly. So Nicki Minaj will forever be known as that liar that claimed to be as fly as a G6. It helps with crits too. Yes, I love that. Crit base damage. Yup. All right, sounds good, Brahim. Take care, okay? All right, so let's now go over sustain more damage. Yes. So another thing, yeah, that's actually great. So it increase color disadvantage. How do I spell this? I don't know. I don't even know how to say this. It's so for example, 18 has an equip that buffs her damage against red units. There, that explains that. All right, sounds good, Lucky. All right, and yes, Ryan, I am going to show you guys in game too, but I do need to write this down because this is going to be a doc that you guys will all have access to at any time. So if you ever click on one of these live streams and I'm doing one of these, I'm going to share this doc with you guys so you will have access to it. Meaning you'll not only be able to follow along with me during the stream, like I'm going to, as I write a little bit more, I'm going to start opening this up to all of you. But on top of that, you'll always have access to it after streams. So whenever you want to look at this, just get a refresher course, that sort of thing, or even like look at them and have them all open to really just study them and get like something done in game while you're doing something, then they're always there for you, which is why I do these. Just so I can give you guys this content and that you have always access to this content. Because the last thing I want you guys to do is have to constantly always have to refer back to the live. So that's why I also make these open, so you don't have to constantly hear me drone this exact thing that I'm saying right now again and again and again. Yeah. So don't worry, Ryan. We will go in game to show some examples, but I do need to go over some of the theory here, so that way it all makes sense when I put it together. All right. So let's go over now some common misconceptions about equipment. Common misconceptions. So these common misconceptions are a little annoying for me as a player because a lot of people, and I'm not saying it's you guys, I'm just saying there are a lot of people that mistake how equips work or which equips work. And I mean, in a sense, that's fine, but it's not fine if you are trying to help someone out and then you're giving people completely wrong advice. So I strongly advise. Yo, Wavy Ray, I'm fantastic. How you doing? I strongly advise you listen up for this part because we don't want to mess this up, okay? So let's talk about critical buffs. Because I know a lot of people, they run Super Saiyan teams, but they don't understand how the critical buffs work in any team, let alone Super Saiyan teams, and their overall effectiveness, okay? All right. All right, so why do critical buffs... Why are critical buffs? Why are critical buffs misunderstood? Well, it's very simple. All right. It's very simple. Critical buffs are misunderstood because people assume that if they add a critical to their team, like increase crit, that they will deal extra damage. For the most part, if your equip has a critical buff as one of their slots, it sucks. It's a bad equip. Exceptions apply, of course. All right, so let's go in-game now. I'm going to show you a couple of equips, right, that you would probably want to avoid. Not necessarily because the equip is overall bad, but just in general as like a ground rule if you thought that this equip is going to make your team busted, okay? So let me go to my equipment, and then I'm going to bring it up on screen once I find it. And the reason why I think it's important that you guys are aware of why critical buffs suck in most cases. Here's a good one. Here's a great one, surprisingly, and it's one of the newer ones. So if I were to pull this up right now, let me just go to Smart View, and then we'll go back to the dock afterwards. I just want to show it to you. Okay. So, yeah, here we go. If I just pull this up onto screen, there we go. Equipment details. You have ha. All right, so we have our base critical of plus 7.05%, which can go to a max of 8. When you increase your base critical, you're not increasing the critical rate. So there's a difference between critical rate and base critical. Critical rate is how often the critical will be activated. Base critical is how much extra base damage will you be adding on to your critical. So let's say your unit has a base critical of 4,000. Add 7.05% of that force or of that 4,000 onto itself, and that is your new base critical. It's garbage. Basically, what it's telling you is you're not even getting more than like 100 or even less than 100 points extra to your 4,000 total. Which means that now you have the situation where you've just so minusculely buffed, you might as well not have had a slot 1. Your slot 1 does not exist. It doesn't exist. It's nowhere to be found. So you're really only using it for base strike attack and base blast attack. But why would you do that when you have like something like this that increases your base blast attack, your base blast defense, and then also increases just your overall damage to like a family or something like that? That even which is more situational is better. Right? If I take a look at this is even better. It covers base blast defense, base health, and also base blast attack. It's just an overall better equip. That is not to say that this equip couldn't find itself useful in the future, but right now regen is one of the few tags that will not abuse crits to the point where the only situation where this particular equip is good is on the EX Majin Buu Good Blue. So the EX version. It's the only equip that can the only unit that can synergize with this equip. Because he buffs his critical rate. And when you have a regen unit that buffs his own critical rate and buffs the team's critical rate, this equipment finally actually makes sense. So let's go back, just so I had a little bit of coverage. Okay, here we go. All right, so unless you're using the Majin Buu Good EX Blue, that equipment sucks, right? And most teams do not abuse crits, and the best regen team that you can possibly make does not run that Buu Good. Why? Because buffing your crit rate through each attack is not as good as just on switch in or on place crit rate increase. Which is why Bardock, and he's a Zenkai too on top of that, but why they see play and why Boo Good, the EX Blue, does not. It's very simple. So, yeah, another thing. Another misconception is this. Auto-select equips are to maximize team power. No. Don't do this for PvP. Ever. Quickest way, I can't spell, to weaken your team is to auto-select equips in PvP, for PvP. So I'm going to show you guys an example of this too. Quickest way, yeah. This is fine for co-op and nowhere else. Yo, Wesley, hello, how you doing? So, Pigeon, one thing you should know, never auto-equip your equips. So do not auto-equip. I think that's what you were saying, Pigeon, but I just double-checking. Never auto-equip unless it's for co-op, and the reason for it is, yes, it will maximize your percentage ability bonus, but your percentage ability bonus is inflated. So, so how the ability bonus works, if we really have to go over that, because that's actually kind of scary. The highest ability bonus equips are base critical equips. Yikes. I'm fantastic, Wesley. So this is important. This is really important, guys. This is bad. This is exactly why you do not auto. You will have to make so many changes that you might as well just have made it yourself. I know it sucks, because you love it when a game can auto do something for you, but the one thing you don't want to do is that. Yo, no problem, Hanged Man. Alright, so let me go over to a team. I'm gonna remake a team, just one team. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to auto and just see how bad did the auto do for me, okay? And we're going to use a meta-relevant team, so I'm going to have to delete the team too. So let me just go and show you, because this is bad. Of course, I am not going to be using Super Saiyans, because that is not the point. Super Saiyans, you might be able to get away with an auto-select. For, let's say, Sun Family. This is a great one, because you will not get away with this. Okay, so let me just build up a giant beefy Sun Family team for you guys real quick. Here we go. All right, let's auto select now, so you guys see how bad this gets. It's gonna look good in terms of ability bonus, but how good is it actually? So let's take a look. All right, we have our first blunder. Here it is. Here's my base critical. What? Base critical. Great. I have 2 slots. Fantastic. All right, let's take a look at this one. Oh, no. Oops, I messed up. Let's take a look at this one. All right. So this one is buffing my strike attack. God knows what reason when he's a blast-based unit. This is bad. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is good. I actually have nothing to say to this. This is fine. Like, it could be better. It could be better optimized, but for the most part, it's good. Sure, I guess. These are okay. And then, let's take a look at this one real quick. Yes, because I as well have Dragon Ball Saga units that I use, other than this kid. So now we have a situation where kind of, and then here's some more confusion. Here's my base critical, because I wanted another base crit, right? I wanted to have basically no first slot. So as you guys can tell, it's inflated. My ability bonus is inflated. So if I optimize this team, so if I go to my actual team, if you take a look at the difference, 3172 to 3229, there's not much of a difference. It's less than 100 ability. It's like 50 in terms of difference. But let's take a look at the actual equips and see how it actually optimized itself based upon what I picked. So for some reason, I did still pick this. I don't remember why. It might be because of how I set up this. So let me double check. Yeah, so I did buff up my blast. Got it. And because I am relying on a green or a purple. Okay, yeah. Nope. This makes more sense because all of a sudden I'm actually buffing both. Makes more sense because I have this which has base. And we're going to go over what base does in conjunction with non-base. I know it's a lot to go in, but you're going to understand that very soon. Taking a look at the next. If you look at this guy, I'm buffing just basically all of his strike damage in terms of baseness, base strike, and just giving him extra damage. Very simple. For this boy, we want the extra damage. We want as much damage as possible, some key recovery if possible, or Vanish Gauge cut recovery. I will talk about just strike attack values without the base in front because that's actually really important to talk about. This guy has the same equips. I just put those on. I give this guy some defense and health restoration. We're going to go over that too, because that's also very important. We have as well this, which obviously is a better version because I use him a lot. And then finally, blast attack. I also put in some extra damage for his special, as well as some extra strike, only because I could. I still have to work on this equip, because it could be way better, but for the most part, this is good. And then obviously I have my Awakened equip, so. Alright, so as you can see, I optimized it better in the second version than in the version that they gave me. So what does that say? That says that the game is gonna cuck you in most case scenarios. So you want to make sure that whenever you are optimizing, you're not auto-selecting. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Just don't auto-select. Jonathan Taylor says, what do you think the best loadout is? Also, hi. Hello. Does it matter if I put an equipment in the first slot? What do you mean by that? Can you help with my futures team equip or say how to choose for every unit? Yeah, exactly, Hangman, exactly. Do not pick your do not auto select. All right, so let's go over some other misconceptions, then we're going to move on, okay? Cuz I think that's super importante. All right. So, why does crit buffs work better for SSJs over non SSJ teams? Answer is Bardock. That's the only reason why. And even then, half the time you don't even need the equip, like the buff equips, because they only increase by, let's say, a little bit. So for example, Gogeta. So let me actually Gogeta versus, and I'm saying the Z7. So let me just point this out. Z7 over, I don't know. Guys, give me a unit to compare Z7 Gogeta. Just give me a unit to compare. Like a strong unit. Do we want 18? Like Z7 18? Do we want those two? Like we could use Z7 18 in terms of crit, let's see. Crit rate. Yeah, 18. Yeah, let's do 18. VB or 18. I think 18 would be a better description because they're literally they're the same units. Gogeta acts like 18, but if it were on a budget. 18 acts like 18 if she shouldn't be in the game. So there's the difference. I could have done Z7 Nameku. Let's just use 18. So let's talk about the crit rate. Crit rates, okay? So let me just take a look real quick at just her critical. So let me just do the math for you guys. So we have okay, so critical is 5796. All right. So we got to do 3% of 5796. Oh, we got to do a whole bunch of things. Okay, so that's a pain in the butt. But basically what this is looking like in terms of her critical rate specifically, that she is going to be more or less, and if I'm being perfectly honest with you guys, it looks like here, let me just go to Gogeta just to double check something. But if I were to go, and then I'll give you guys like a rough estimate of that number, because it's a doozy. It's a wall of a doozy. So let's just go over that real quick. Okay, here we go. Let me just look at Gogeta just for a second, just so I can see his crit rate and get an idea. So his critical rate is way lower. He's at 4,292. And yet, so if we were to compare, her crit rate is roughly akin to about like 3.50. This is an approximation. It's not exact, okay? Whereas Gogeta's is more at like 290, better to say, approximately. So, let's just take a look at this real quick. So, look at all this. So, if we were to increase, all right? If we were to increase this critical rate, well, Bardock gives a flat 30, right? On top of that, if you were to put the proper equips, so let's say we use the equip, which equip should I use for this? Any base critical equip, if it's doing around like 12%, this should increase. So, plus base crit equip. Let's actually take a look at how much it actually gives. So if we were to do that, it goes roughly to all of a sudden 3 point like, I think 10, roughly. So if you guys notice, we get like 0.20 or 0.22 base equip like increase without Bardock. So which means if we apply Bardock, so Bardock plus Gogeta plus base crit equals rate of like 32 or to 33 aroundish percentage. Right? So this is why Bardock is so powerful, because he just gives them a rate, and then you can apply that from there. Now, this is still a little bit bastardized, and the reason for it is because applying just the like setting the rate at 30 and then applying their critical rate is actually skewed. It's probably actually more around 31 to 32% and not 33. Just letting you guys know. But there's such a minuscule advantage, and that's because of how critical rate formula works. And critical rate formula is a pain in the butt. And I'm going to give credit where credit is due deserved. Game Press did discover, well, they didn't discover, I think it might have been them or might have been someone on the Reddit that discovered how to do this. And as a result, it's common knowledge now. But sometimes you guys don't know it. So if you guys don't, that's why I'm bringing it up. Critical rate formula is basically how we're going to figure out, like if you want to figure out critical rate, here, let me see if I can find it online. And then I can just copy paste it for you guys, so you guys can see what the critical rate formula looks like. Because it's a pain in the butt, okay? And I'll explain what each thing means. So let me just type it up. 1 second, guys. And then... Okay, let me just find it for you guys. I'm sorry that it's taking a bit, but once I put this all together, it'll make more sense. All right, I found it. Here we go. Here we go. Let me just grab it. I'm gonna put it into this doc so you guys can see it. Critical rate. Oh wow, that messed up. Here, 1 second. Maybe I should type it out. Yeah, I should type it out. Let me just type it out for you guys. Critical rate equals to 3%, because you're taking 3% of the value of your crit, okay? And then you're doing multiplied, so we're going to do X for this, times, it's going to be 4.26, and then this is where it gets a little tough, so I'm going to do this, log, and then you do into brackets, which it's log bracket, so log is above, and then you have critical attack divided by critical defense, but of your opponent. And that is your critical rate. So if you did all of that, you would know your critical rate against a unit that you're fighting. And what's the likelihood of your critical rate opening up? So there you go. And that's just critical rate right there. So if you guys are interested in that, there it is. But I try to not talk about critical rate too much because it just doesn't matter in most case scenarios. Okay? Alrighty. So let's now go into the difference between base versus base strike / blast versus strike / blast. You guys know the difference? Do you guys know the difference between this? What is the difference between base strike attack, base strike attack, base blast attack versus just strike attack and blast attack? Don't worry, God, we're about to fix this up right now. What's the difference between base strike blast versus strike blast? Numbers. Dragons just like numbers? I have no idea. I just want to see if you guys know. Yo, Jay, how you doing? Here, let me bring it up onto the screen so you guys can see the see it. So you guys see the thing. Not embarrassed to admit it, no clue. Got it. They boost their base strike and blast damage. Okay, so Just Otaku has an idea. I think base means without stacking on buffs in strike and blast. Base is effective. Base 1 is the damage which your character has 100 Z power without soul boost. All right, here, let me pull it up so you guys can see a much more clear example of that. Rate is how often it happens, yes. And critical damage is, like, critical buff or critical base is how much extra you apply to the damage, but not to the rate. All right, so let's take a look at some equips here, real quick. So what is the difference? Let me use one that makes sense here. So let's take a look at this guy, this equip. Take a look here. It says base strike attack and base blast attack, okay? Oh, whoops. I have my mouse in here. It doesn't matter. I'll get it back in a bit. My base strike attack and my base blast attack. But over here, so if I were to go to my next equip, and I should have just done this, but whatever. Look at this. It says just base. It just says blast attack. It doesn't say base. It does not say base. What is the difference? Okay. So Juice is lucky. Okay, so Pigeon says as in base, the number on the unit before battle. Strike blast in battle. Base rate is upping the base percentage. Yes, you got it, Wesley. So, guys, here's the difference. Here's the difference. If we take a look at this, Wesley's actually kind of got it. Like, he kind of actually figured it out, kind of. Base strike and base blast is in reference to how much does it add to your overall percentage base of your original stats. So it takes the percentage of your stat, applies this to that, takes a small value of it, adds it on. Okay? But this is not a small value if properly done. Because then you have your just blast attack. And this can stack. Also, this applies extra. So I'm going to teach you guys something really quickly. And this is actually really cool. And then I'll explain how. And if you guys don't understand how, just take my word for it at that point. Because, yeah. So base refers to your original stats. Non-base is applied after your base equips buffs your general your base stats. So what does that mean? Okay. So this is important. This could have been probably written better, but what is the difference? This is the difference. This is what you guys need to know. So what this basically means is that you actually want basically 1 to 2 copies of base values and in most cases only 1x of a non-base value. And the why? Why? Easy. I can answer this out. To optimize your damage. That's why. Yep, you got it, Pigeon. You got it. That's it. You figured it out. Exactly. Just Otaku, you got it. See, you guys are starting to get it. That's important because this is crazy. So, yeah. No, you're right, Otaku. You got it. So, pure buffs are only good if they're stacked onto base buffs. If you do not create base buffs for your pure buffs, just pure buffs suck. They suck. But a pure buff is fantastic if you have a good amount of base buffs that increase your overall damage. Then all of a sudden, you're taking a new percentage. You're not taking the old percentage, which means that smaller pure buff value is actually really good. It ends up being just as good, if not better, than a base buff. And that's insane. That's what you want. You want to optimize your overall damage, and you cannot do that if you're just running all pure or all base. So if you have an all base buffed character, each one is not going to apply the other base buff. They're going to apply individually and add on. So they're going to add. They're not going to be a multiplier. But the reason why we only run 1 to 2 of the pure buffs, and ideally only 1, is because if you run too many pure buffs, because you don't have enough base buffs, you're not doing much of a multiplier, meaning you're just getting a less value. So to make that more clear, yeah, that's fair, Ice Panda. My day's great. I hope you're having a fantastic day too. Nabil says critical equips are not valuable, FYI. Nabil, most cases you're right, some cases you're wrong. So I will go over when these are actually good. But for the most part, you are absolutely right, Nabil. Okay. Let's see. So if you're running 2 base equips, they add on individually to your base. So let's do an example of this so you guys get an idea. So let's say that your damage is 100. 100 damage, okay? If you had like 10% base buff twice, because I want to make this as simple as possible. that means that you get actually only 120 damage, okay? That's your overall. Now, let's say we had a 10% just buff. Now you got to figure out what 10% of 120 is. Let me just control X that. Let me just. So what would be a 10% of 120? What would that be? What would that look like? Does anyone have a calculator, or am I doing that in my head? I don't want to do it in my head if I can avoid it. Does anyone know? Off the top of their head, 12%. So it's like 12 extra damage, right? So then in that case, we're looking at now a total of a 132. 132. There you go. Thank you. Versus if this was another base, it would have been 130. Yeah. So this looks small, but the bigger the numbers, the better. Okay? Exactly. So overall, just right now, you've done better by 2 with a pure damage buff over a base buff. And if I were to use bigger numbers, all of a sudden you would see exactly what I mean and why this is actually insane. All right? So let's say I were to change these to 15, okay? And keep this as 10. All right? So if I were to change these to 15, and again, this is small numbers, so be aware that this changes quite a bit how it all functions. So if I were to use bigger numbers, this would probably be better. 130. If I were to do 130 and do the 10% buff, 1 second, I just need to grab it. Grab it all. All of a sudden, we have 143, or 143 damage. Exactly. But this starts to ramp up. Yeah, it's 13%, so it ramps up. And it's going to keep on ramping up. That's the difference, right? It's going to keep on ramping up. And that's awesome. Now, with lower numbers, one thing you guys have to know is that numbers can get skewed. Because with base buffs, if your stat, the lower your stat is, the better off you're better off with base stats. But the higher your number is, the better off you are with pure buffs. Because if you were to do just triple 15 base percentage, if everything was 100 damage, then in that case, your pure buff is useless, okay? So, one thing to note. So, one last thing to note. If your unit has such low values, pure buffs suck. If the unit comes from Legions, pure buffs can rock. So just be aware. Exactly. There you go, Wesley. You got it. You got it. Exactly. So, like, I just want you guys to know that this is just an example. So don't take this as face value, because if you were to look at just base buffs are better here. But I'm just trying to show as an example without, like, breaking my brain that you can optimize damage through base buffs plus, like, regular buffs, right? Because if I were to, again, equate this to the same number, right? And instead of doing that, I could have done this. Then all of a sudden we have 19.20. You have 19.5, okay? So if I were to do that, then in that case we have what? It is 19 plus 130, which is a total of my brain, 149.5. So if we were to do everything buff, you see how this, if we keep this the same, it starts to scale the damage. Whereas if we were to do this, it would be 145. So if I actually kept it the same, then you guys would have a better idea. So I'll just remove this. Like, just if I just do that. Good. Now you guys have it. Now you guys have this. All right? Now you guys are not confused. Now everything works, okay? Boom. So if we were to do that, boom, boom, boom. We have it. Because if we were to just do this plus another base equals 145 damage. Okay? Whereas if we just do the regular, like the pure buff, so I'll type it as pure. Boom. Done. There. There. I think that's the best way to put it. Now, obviously, you're not going to always have them at equal values. But if you do, then pure buffs are even that much better. So there you go. And that's your pure buffing. It's OP. Pure buffs, if used correctly, are OP. So what I suggest, like always, and I'm going to bring it up on screen again for you guys. And then I'm going to explain to you guys how to get, like, S-tier equips, how to get Z-tier equips, how to get all that stuff. Because I know you guys are dying for that. So I'm gonna go over that. Okay? So let me just pull this up real quick. Dragon Ball Legends, exactly. All right, here we go. My brain is fried. Don't worry, Lucky. I'm going to give you guys that entire document so you can keep on looking it over. All right, so let's find a good example of this. Who would I use? All right, let's actually do this one. So we take a look. He's got his base strike attack. He's got his base blast attack, okay? So we get a 12.15% extra on top of his overall blast damage value. So if we were to take a look at his blast damage value, he's at 282,495. And if you find 12 point whatever percentage of that, that's how much extra damage he'll be doing while in battle, okay? And then what you should do after that, because we're not done, then you want to take that total value, and you want to make sure that you've added the base blast attack here, and added that to that, but from the original stat base. And then on top of that, then you want to take the total of all that and add it to his blast attack here. Because now he's getting a 7.70% extra blast attack total. And I do plan to increase this and make it better, because it's only, like, the max is 10%. And I want to get as close to that as possible. But I'm just waiting on equips, so, like slot removers. So we're going to wait on that. But if you look at that, that just gives him an overall extra damage. And on top of that, actually, here's a third one. Base blast attack on top of that. So we're doing triple on his additional values, on his base original, and then a 7.70 from the total. That's going to put his blast damage, hopefully, in like 300s. And then on top of that, he himself buffs his overall damage each time he uses a blast card. So the point is, try to break your characters as best as you can. So there you go. All right, so let's now go over how we can get S tier and plus equips, because I think that's actually, pretty important. I think that's going to help you guys figure out how you're going to do things and how you're going to get. So let's actually go over to equipments real quick. All right. So does anyone know the difference between a red slot and a yellow slot and a green slot? Does anyone know? I want to know, because this is for God gamers. So he can figure out how to get his Z tier equips, or Z plus tier equips, or even S tier equips at the minimum, right? Because I think that's importante. Without it, y'all be like, where do I do? What do I do? How do I do? Why do I do? You know? What is the difference between a red slot, a yellow slot? Okay. Or a green slot. Yellow is C. Okay. Yes. What is red? What is red? Yellow is dog poop. Red is high high. Green is med buff. Yeah, this is great. So a gold or yellow, whatever you like to call it, can either be a D tier equip or a C tier equip. Red will be the highest. Red will be the highest equip slot, which usually will be almost buffed to the max or maxed out. So when you're doing grinding for equips, red is your ideal. So for example, here's a great one. Max value, 13% out of 13. This is Gucci. I love it. This is not so Gucci, but it's Gucci enough. This is pretty much Gucci. It's 0.25% away from max. Okay? Whereas this one, it's 0.70 away from max. And then you got a whole bunch of greens. And they look fine, but there is a difference in how much overall stat value it gives you. Right? So what I suggest is when you're farming, when you're looking for equips specifically, if you want to farm for equip, so let's do an example of this. Let's go to the exchange shop real quick. If you play enough PvP, if you're picking the Battle Lovers plan, if you're picking a whole bunch of things that allow you to get equipment medals, and I'll show you what equipment medals look like. It's this thing. Get a whole bunch of these. On the top right, you have equipment medals. This will allow you to farm for so many equips. You'll be basking in equips. Okay, so let's do one, for example. Let's see. Not romantic drive. Let's do quit playing around. Or actually, let's see if I could do something that's a little bit better for me. Oh, actually, blah might be good. Yeah, I kind of want to do blah. I haven't actually fixed up blah in a long time. So let's do blah. So let's grab 6, because apparently I've filled up my equipment slots. So let me just do that real quick. Let me unselect a whole bunch. If I were to go to sell, and if I were to filter, let's see what we got. All right, let's just sell a whole bunch right now. Okay, boom. But you see I have a C right there? So what I do is I basically just go through them all, and if I don't like them, I sell them. But you see, I have a C right here. So when I was farming at one point, I got a C. You want to keep Cs, any C equips that are gold or higher. So if they're red Cs, even better. Keep those. If you get 2 red Cs, I would just say delete your golds, honestly. Like, for example, I'm going to delete that one because I have red ones that are better. So what you do is you basically just farm them. Whether you play PvP, whether you're just doing that, basically take the best one you can get, and then when you can update it and make it better, go for it. Ideally, if the first slot isn't gold or red, it's not worth keeping. It's only worth keeping if you don't plan to farm at all. So pick and choose which equips you actually want to farm, and the ones that you want to farm should be for your main teams. That's how I would do it. But in the meantime, let me actually farm Bois, because I actually wanted to farm Bois. So I like to go like 28, 29 at a time, 30 if I can, because, you know, space is limited for me. All right. Oh, we got a C. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. We got a C red. A red 1. And then that's it. Oh, we got a D. But look, it's a yellow D. I'll keep that because I actually never attempted to ever get good equips on this end. So now that I have it, I want to make sure that I'm only selling the bad ones. Boom. All right, let's upgrade them. Boom, boom. I'm going to upgrade them both. Contrary to popular belief, this does not affect your system rating. Just do it anyways. Okay, so like the rates on some of these equips are different. So just letting you know. So we got a B equip only from that. So just letting you guys know that the rates for these particular equips suck. Just be aware of that. But I will work on them. So over time, they will get better. So what you're going to want to do from there is you're going to want to use your slot removers, or if you're a whale, or just are, you know, willing to spend CC, use CC. That's what I would say. Because, like, take a look at this. This was my best equip. 11%. Ouch. And then 12 out of 2150. Whereas this one is what? It's like 6 out of 12. Yep. And then 8 only. Like, the rate is low, but you get it up higher, and it's so much better after that. So I'm going to keep them both. And once they're both better than my A, this A is getting deleted. I wouldn't do it today, and the reason for it is very simple, Otaku. I only have 6 slot removers, and I do not plan to spend them right now. But that's an idea, right? So you're going to want to use the slot removers. And how are you going to get slot removers? Not very simple. Not very simple. There are ways to do it more simply, but I like to hold back a little. One thing you could do, go to other. You can grab slot removers here. You can grab slot removers here. Let's see. I believe you can grab slot removers here, but I don't recommend it. Yeah. I don't recommend it only because if you haven't grabbed all the CC, you might want to do that. You can grab slot removers here, of course. Can you grab... Wait, no, not here. Can you grab slot removers here? I don't remember. I believe you can. Yeah, you could if you had any. Is slot removers here? I'm just taking a look at every single place that there's potential slot removers. So not everything has slot removers. One thing I would definitely say is if you really, really are struggling for slot removers, platinum coins are great for that. You can grab with 3 of them, so that's nice. I could potentially just grab like 3 right now for a total of now 15. Or alternatively, the best place to get slot removers, by the way, guilds. Be part of a guild. And hopefully your guild's winning and you're saving up. So right now we're losing, but it doesn't matter right now, I guess. We'll fix that later. Hopefully. I have 2305, right? If I were to do slot removers right here and lift it up, 99 right there. It would cost me a lot, and I wouldn't have a lot of my guild medals left, but I would have 99 slot removers. Now, I'm not going to do that right now, but I will eventually do something like that. So just letting you know, guilds are the best place for slot removers. Right? Yeah. Yo, Nudie Pie says, hey, Phil, is the Equipment Awakening worth it? Yes. We'll go over Equipment Awakening too, because Equipment Awakening is worth it, but it's a pain in the butt and requires a lot of resources if you're unlucky. Because, well, let's face it, equipment rates, each equipment has their own rate of success and how they're going to turn out. And that sucks because equipments are a pain in the butt as it is, because this game is very gacha on its own, and then equipments add a whole new layer of gacha that I hate. 5 for 1 Zenkai Rush Medal. Yes, you could do that. My only issue with that is that you want to be saving your Zenkai USTRs for Zenkai Souls. So you guys are not wrong, but if you do that, you're actually impacting tickets. You're also impacting USTR Souls. So, for example, if I go to USTR right now, that blue that I have right there will get heavily impacted. Actually, wait, no, they're for Zenkai specific. I don't know, guys. I don't know if that's worth it. I personally don't find that. I mean, over time, you could make it worth it for sure. If you're done your Zenkais or those Zenkais you care about, then yes, that's worth it. But if you just want to Zenkai as many characters as possible, maybe save that for later. Like, do that later after you've done enough Zenkais that you care about. Just a thought, okay? So, actually not a bad idea, since it doesn't conflict. So, never mind. Scratch what I said. As long as it doesn't conflict with you Zenkaiing one of the units that you want to Zenkai, go for it. That's fine. That's fine. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I don't have 70 because I've been using my slot removers to fix up some of my equips. So, the reason why I'm countering KKFG a little bit here is because you want to Zenkai the characters that you need first. Then, once you're done, yeah, go for slot removers. I agree, 100%. If there's nothing in here that you need or want, then yeah, go for the slot removers. They're actually much more valuable for you, and it will definitely help you a lot more than just random Zenkais. Yeah. Oh, Wesley, another thing I would like to say. All right, I don't know if you guys know, but please, 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 if you're using these, if you're a new player, it's 100% recommended that you go for this one. The multi-Z Power 100 Sparking. If you plan to play competitively, this is important, because you will get this guy for free in your Master Pack tickets. Either Master Pack tickets or just at some point. I don't remember. I believe he's in some of the Master Packs. I might be wrong. But either way, he's not a very good character anymore, so I wouldn't recommend him. But you can if you want him, and don't feel bad if you've gone for him already. Just learn from this experience. All right? But I would 100% recommend the multi-Z Power 100 Sparking if you're trying to increase stars on your characters. is just so much more free than 50. And then these are not worth it either. I wouldn't do these at all. They're a trap for beginners. So, that's just my side note from this stream, from this live. It's just, be careful when you do that. Just because if you're trying to buff up and max value your stars, that 100 Z power matters more than a whole bunch of other things in that shop. As for, like, useful units in this, it depends on your teams. If you're running a Sun Family team or a Saiyan team or Super Saiyan team even, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is a fantastic unit. Alternatively, another good fantastic unit for Super Saiyans is the legendary Broly, the green one. So he's also a great one if you are looking for, you know, Super Saiyans. Now, he does have a singles summon, and I would suggest that you do singles instead of this. If you don't want to wait, then fine. But I do suggest single summoning for this character and this character. He's not worth it. I wouldn't touch him. He's also only really a bench unit, so I don't really recommend him either. Again, he doesn't even see play, so I wouldn't recommend him. He's good, so if you run hybrids, I would recommend this kid. If you run a dedicated hybrid team, although that's not optimal, you could use him. The reason why I say that is because the best hybrid teams don't even run a purple. They just flat out don't run a purple. Their color orientation right now, at least from what I saw, which was their best performing team, was red, blue, yellow. That was it. And then their bench all just buffed those. And then their bench would be red, yellow, yellow, which meant that, you know, in some cases you could have double red or you could have alternate reds, although I doubt that. It was usually just a double red situation. So the best performing teams didn't run this kid, but if you absolutely feel like greens are dominating, then he is a definite good unit to put into your team and replace one of your bench units. So there's that. And then obviously if you have him at 7 stars, go for this guy. If you have him at 7 stars and you're playing regen, he's a good substitute for DKP, as in Demon King Piccolo. And then finally, he's just worth it. I don't know what else to say. He's just really good. And I'm not even saying this because he's my favorite unit. I'm saying this because he just performs that well. So, although it's nice that he's my favorite unit and performs well. So, there you go. So, why does LF not use a Z power? Easy, because they're a different type of Z power. They have a specific Z power to them, and they do it so that way you can't just boost them up, because LFs at high stars can literally destroy Zenkais. So one thing you guys need to note is that if you had a 14-star LF Gogeta and you had to decide, am I putting him on my God Key team or my 14-star Zenkai 7 Vegeta? The answer is bring your LF. Fun fact. Bring the LF. You know that team with Android 18, Topo, and Vados? If you had a 14-star LF Gogeta blue, you pick that over 18. You don't pick 18. Crazy as that sounds, but that's actually true. This is why. Because they don't want to break the game, and Whales will break it for you, but outside of that, most people are not going to have Gogeta at 14 stars, which means you never have to deal with that monstrosity. Yeah, 20cc is not a waste. 20cc for a free unit is very good. So, for example, if I go into my summons, take a look at how much CC I have. I bet I have more CC than you. And why? Because I skip banners like this. You see this? I haven't touched it because it's garbage for me. It might not be garbage for you, but it's garbage for me. All right, I skip this because it's garbage. It's not worth it. Do not do this. Most of the units suck. And the ones that don't suck, well, it doesn't matter because you're most likely going to pull the units that suck. So if you pull one of the units that you want, great. Well spent then. But that's you're gambling. You're throwing caution to the wind and saying, I hope I do well. And if I do, I'll say, ha, I told you. But if I don't do well, you'll be like, why did I do that? And most of the time, you're going to be, why did I do that? I skipped this because I'm not a powerful opponent player. I skipped this because it's a bait trap. Do not do this. The rates are bad. I did one rotation of this because I said, I don't care. I want to try it. Just to try it. And I didn't care what the result was. So don't do what I did here. I did it because I just wanted to attempt and nothing more. This skip. I didn't do this. I might do him. I'm not sure. I'll decide. I do single summons for this dude. I want him to be at Z1. I don't do single summons. I don't like hybrids. I don't do this guy because I don't like LOE that much. Same. He's garbage. Don't do him. I do singles for him because I want to use my USTR medals for more relevant units for myself. I don't do him because I'm not a fan of DBZ Borley, so I don't do that. Again, same thing. He's garbage. And then, obviously, these are tickets, so it's free. So as you've noticed, I skip a lot. And that's why I have high CC, because we do get a lot of CC in this game. It's just that you have to skip and you have to manage your single summon spending properly. So don't single summon on everything. Only single summon on the things that you're actually going to use. If you're going to use Super Saiyan Blue God Goku, then single summon. So yeah, there you go. That is that. Do you think too much of this game isn't healthy? Vegito Blue? Yes. But I think too much of any game is unhealthy. And I say that because when you overplay a game, you start to, and I don't know why, but you, especially if it's a competitive game in any shape, way, or form, you start to relate your performance in the game to your self-worth. And that's unhealthy. If you play a game for hours on end without breaks, without taking it the time to step back, you have basically immersed yourself to the point where you struggle to really pull yourself away when you need to. And that can affect relationships. Maybe not like at the beginning, maybe at like for the first bits it'll be fine, but when I was, let's say, playing Skyrim when I was 12, when I was 13. No, not 12. It came out when I was in grade 11. What am I talking about? 2013 or 2011? 2011, right? So when I was in high school, when I got Skyrim, there were times where I would wall myself up and basically not go to bed. And I think playing too much of any game can be unhealthy if you don't properly manage it. A game doesn't have to be unhealthy. That's the thing. Dragon Ball Legends doesn't have to be an unhealthy game. It can be, though, if you don't know how to properly manage your time and learn to step away from the game when you need to or when you should. So, I usually try to limit how often I play in the game, and it's not because I hate the game, it's because I know that if you dive way too deep into it, it's hard to just step back. For example, I played Duel Links. I got stuck into Duel Links quite a bit. And recently, what I do now is that I will do one rank up a day. So I won't actually like grind my way to the top of the ladder. What I'll do is I'll do step by step to the top of the ladder. And I'm now king of games in Duel Links and blah, blah, blah. And great, that's fantastic. I don't know when the season ends, but the point is I did that gradually because that's healthier than trying to like farm and grind. Because unless it's your day job and you're a competitive Dragon Ball Legends player, which doesn't exist, by the way, then in that case, no point. Don't waste your time. You're not getting paid for that. And I understand people that want the CC, but you get enough CC on its own that you don't need to be top 10K. But in case that you want to be, what I would suggest is just gradually do that. Don't break yourself. Please don't break yourself. That's dangerous. We got off course from Eclipse. You're right. You are right. Even family. Good familiar relations are the longest, but they don't last forever, and that terrifies me. About 50k CC. Yeah, so here's the thing. Let's see. Can't have everything. Where would you put it? Every single story with battle gives you 41 CC. Exactly. Exactly, guys. So I think you guys all understand that we do not want to overdo this game as much as we like it too, and as much as we hate it at the same time. All right, so equips. So red slots are best. Color slots. Red slots are best. Gold/yellow are second best. Green is average. Try to farm for at least gold slots if you want at maximum a tier equip. If you want a Z plus tier equip, farm for red slots. One last thing to note. The first slot should be red, as that increases overall chance for a Z plus tier equip. Boom. Let's just separate this. All right, so there you go. That is colors, and I think that is pretty much all there is to it to equips. There's not much else to really talk about. The same thing applies to just base defense. So when you're optimizing defense or health, it's the same thing. Final thing I think we can talk about is health restoration. Health restoration versus health buffs. So for example, if you heal 30% of your health, 30% health heal, plus, whatchamacallit, it's, let's say 9% health restoration. That 9% to health restoration specifically is actually going to go towards, your overall health healing. So it would actually go to about, like, okay, so if we were to do 30% health heal, so let's say that you have 100 health, you get 30 health, right? 9% increase of that health. How to put that so I don't misconstrue this. It would be 9% of your 30%, if that makes sense. All right, take care, Justin Otaku. Have a great night, okay? And sleep tight. It's equal to around, like, it's not 39%. No, it's not 39%. It's more like 9% of 30% equals total value. Yeah. 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 Exactly. There you go. Yusuf got it. Exactly. You got it, bud. You did it. See, and that's what I mean. But health restoration is still good. So, guys, you just want to be aware that health restoration is good because you have to consider if you were to, put more health restorations, if you were to put characters that can increase health restoration, if they can increase overall health healing on top of that, these things do matter because we did talk about how Vados with Gogeta, if he has health restoration buffs, equips, and defensive equips, he can heal, if he's, let's say, at 14 stars, he can heal about, like, 700k health per Vados switch. And then this is assuming Gogeta LF is at 14 stars with optimal health, restoration, and health equips. All right, take care, Lucky. Have a great night or a great day, okay? So, like, this is just, like, a little note. Okay? Why health buffs and health restoration should not be underestimated. With the right team composition, stuff like health restoration is terrifying. All right? And I think that's pretty much it that there is to talk about. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. It's only really this stuff. And just letting you know, when it comes to... Okay, I'm not going to be able to remove that. So I put health restoration on purple Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, then his health increases. No, his health only increases if you've increased his overall max health. So health restoration is not base health. Base health is the value added to your health stat. So the health equips also heal the non-regen units. Sorry, I'm still a noob. So health equips will not heal a non-regen unit. What health equips will do is if you have a base health equip, you will increase your overall health stat on that character. If you use health restoration, it only works if a team member can apply healing to the character that has the health restoration stat, or if the character itself has a move that can heal itself, then you will increase its overall health restoration. So for example, if you had a health restoration buff stat on Bardock, since his green card heals him by 10%, I believe, or maybe 15, I think it's 10% though, you then apply the health restoration, adding extra percentage to his overall health increase. Okay? So just consider that. Hey Phil, can you clear one thing? Like, do we need to put the equipment in a particular slot to get that slot effect? No. No. You could put it in any order, guys. So it does not apply itself from left to right or right to left. It applies based upon, like, mathematics. If you were to do addition and multiplication, multiplication goes first. Addition comes secondary. This is the same thing. It will never try to cuck you, so do not worry about don't worry about the positions of slots. If anyone tells you that slot positioning matters, they're misinformed. Better to say they are misinformed. They're not dumb. I almost said that. I'm sorry, guys, but it annoys me when people use those misconceptions as fact. It's not true. The slot positionings do not matter. So let me just put this at the bottom. Another misconception that people have. So I think let's do that. Let's see. Let's just do that here. And then let's do this. Let me just write that here and let me bold it for you guys. Slot positions do not matter. It applies like ped mass or bed mass, depending if you're an English speaker or French speaker. I don't remember the difference in terms of whether it's which one's English, which one's French. So I'm just gonna write both. Basically math. Basically math. There you go. So they do not matter. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay, got it. How to get good characters. Lucifer, pick the team that you want to play. Don't go for other units. That's how you'll get good characters. Save your CC in a way that it matters. I talk about this a lot, but if you're going to get good characters, you got to pick a team and stick with that team. So whenever you see a new character that you want, but it isn't part of your team, skip the character. If you want to play this for fun and not care about PvP, then collect everyone. But in that case, you're going to have to realize you're going to suck at PvP. You have to accept that, especially if you're free to play. If you want to get good characters and you don't care about being free to play, spend money. That's very easy. Just do that. All right, so, or we get a reflective equip no matter, yeah, exactly. Good job, Yusuf, for that one. So a slot percentage buff on equip card doesn't need to go on slot 3 to take advantage. Wow, exactly, Wellesley, you got it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much effect does equips do in PvP, considering 1 as with equips? Doc, 10 buff on slot 3 on the card doesn't need to go on slot 3. Exactly, you don't need to do, you could put it in any order, guys. So let's actually go over, so let's go over how effective, so actually, are equips to your teams? Good question. Pretty effective. All right, so the majority of your stats are from your characters and your stars. So in PvP, the order of importance is as followed. Soul boost, stars, equips. Okay? Let's do that. Soul boosting, so to 5,000, level 5,000. Stars are secondary because if they're not soul boosted, your stars don't matter. And then finally equips, because if anyone tells you that equips don't matter, or that you can get away like with like B or C tier equips, or with no equips on your characters, they're wrong. You definitely need like minimum A tier equips. So for example, if you wanna do well, B, you need A tier equips minimum. And I say this like so you can make mistakes. Assuming you are human and make mistakes on occasion. Okay? If you make mistakes on occasion, you want equips that can save your butt, right? Because these minute increases, despite being minute, they matter. The difference between running these equips and then not running these equips is night and day, because if you don't have those equips on, your base overall damage goes down, your base defenses go down, and your opponent with equips has little opposition to the point where they do extra damage to you. I mean, and you do less damage to them if they're running a defensive team with defensive equips. So you do want at least A tier. A tier equips minimum, okay? If you have that, you're already set. After that, it's about improving them over time to get them to become better. So if we had to like rating importance in terms of a number out of 10, so soul boost is like infinity. Just infinity. Do it. Just do it. And then stars equals 10. 10 out of 10. Because the more stars you have, obviously, the better your character will do. It's just inherent. For PvP. For PvE, the stars is one of the least important aspects, and anyone that tells you otherwise is very misinformed. And then finally, for equips, I would say this does matter in some aspects, so I'm going to say 8 out of 10, kind of like what Pigeon said. It could be, you could say 8 or 9, so I would say 8 or 9. It's important, but it's not, like, the first thing that you do. It is definitely something that you do afterwards, but I would definitely recommend that you don't play PvP until you have all your A tier equips. That's what I did for my free-to-play account, my third one. the one that I'm doing for that YouTube tutorial video for new players. Reason why is that when I realized when I was just grinding for equips and grinding for things in that account, that if I had gone into PvP with my really awful equips or lack of equips, I just die. I would just die. There would be no way. I would be doing so little damage, even with a God Shallot, that there was no point. So what I did was I got at least all A tier equips. Then I went to PvP, and oh boy, it makes night and day. Like I was just testing against PvE units, and having equips, you're dealing at least about 5 to 10% extra damage per card. That's insane if you think about that. But it's still not as insane as obviously soul boosting and having, because you could still beat PvE with soul boosted units. Equips just matter more in PvP than in PvE, but they do help in PvE. All right, so there you go. This is what you need to know about how effective are equips. They're about like an 8 or 9 out of 10. I wouldn't call them a 10 out of 10, only because obviously it's inherent in PvP. You want equips. So in that aspect, they're 10 out of 10. But in terms of how high do they have to be, just A tiers alone can help you. Obviously, if you can get them to S tier, do it. And if you can get them to Z or Z+, do it. The higher the tier of your equip, the better your team will perform. This is inherent, okay? But just overall, equips matter. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. They do. They absolutely do. It's the difference between dealing a lot of damage to dealing like virtually no damage. It also doesn't help if they have 14 stars, but you know, just to give you an idea. Okay. All right, Ryan. Let's see. I thought the auto function was screwing up badly all the time. Pulse Mac. Well, at least that. Phil, how do you know when equipment is even upgradable to Z or S? We did go over that, but basically, here you go. I'm gonna do that without that. That was annoying. Let me just do that real quick. Oops. And I'm just gonna make this all bold. This is annoying. We're gonna do this as that. Yeah, that's better. That, and then green is average. Let me just equals, and let me just undo that. S or max Z equip. Boom. There you go. It's all good, Shu. Here you are. Where am I from? I'm from Canada, the land of the north, the land of the cold and snow, the land of polar bears and igloos. I sled to school every day. Actually, I don't go to school anymore. I'm done with school. I've been done with school for a while. Okay, are you gonna maybe do PvP against subs videos? Yeah, I do plan to do that, but that's not gonna happen for a little bit until I like fully establish my Twitch and I fully establish a couple of other things. All right, bye, God Gamers. Have a great day, okay? So there you go. I answered that, Brahim. I eventually plan to do like a video against subscribers, but I'm gonna do it in a different way. It's not gonna be your regular subscriber fights. So yeah, it is definitely, and the subscriber fights are not gonna be for YouTube. Just letting you guys know, specifically, I'm not gonna be doing YouTube subscriber fights. So just be aware that it's going to be very different from the usual subscriber fights that I'm talking about. So it's going to be the land of Lukachow. So just letting you know. So don't be too excited yet, because there's a couple of things I need to work out, and there's a couple of other things that I also need to work out. So just letting you all know. But will you guys be able to fight me when I get to Twitch? Yes, you'll get to fight me on Twitch. But will you appear in a YouTube video? That's a little different. We'll see. It's not because I don't want to. It's because there's a couple of things I need to fix, and I have planned out before that happens. I'm getting a car, so gotta go. Have a great time, and I'll be safe. Sounds good, Wesley. Have a great day yourself. Okay. Anyways, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else to cover, guys. Is there any more questions? If you have any more questions, lay it on me now. Otherwise, I'm going to give you guys this doc so you have access to it too, so you can help yourselves when you need it. And if there's anything else that you don't understand in this doc, let me know, because that way I can update it, make it better. So that way you have access to it. Okay? And let me just also, and then I'll just do a note here. Note. Same thing applies to base defense and pure defense. So it's the same concept. Same concept. By the way, where does the new LF Rose fit in the top 10 purple units? It doesn't fit, and the reason why is not because he doesn't deserve to be there. He does. It's because he's too new. Unlike some other units, he's way too new to just justify. We're still trying to figure out whether or not he is like a substitute at 2 or 3 stars to Zamasu, whereas Zamasu, you most likely have at higher stars. So he obviously performs better than this LF Goku Rose at higher stars in terms of pure damage. But in terms of everything else, Rose has Zamasu beat, right? And Zamasu was 7th on my list. So would I see this Rose Goku in the top 10? For sure. Where? That's the problem. I don't know yet. So I need to see over time, and as the hype disappears, as we actually see what future teams look like over time, that is how I'm going to be able to decide where he fits. But if you really want to know, he would end up more on the lower echelon of the top 10. He does not break into the top 5. Not yet, at least. At least, not at this current moment. All right. So just to give you guys an idea, Nudie Pie, for like the LF Rose, there's a lot of contention in regards to how good he is. But would I say he's better than Zamasu? Most likely. Would he probably bump Zamasu down to 8th spot and then take Zamasu's spot to be 7th? Probably. I think that would be a safe guess. But again, this is a guess. This is not 100% confirmed. And he definitely makes top 10, if that's the question. He will make top 10. Just a reminder, buddy, make a vid exclusive for Shallot. Like what? Yep, I got it. I got it. I hate DBL every time in PvP. They always make me lose because my vanish never work, and I'm on summon. I check complete garbage. Yeah, fair enough. That Goku Black. Listen, here's the dealio. You need to know the difference between a perfect vanish and a regular vanish. If they're perfect vanishing on you, you can't do anything. You'll still get the exclamation point, but you won't be able to dodge. You won't be able to do anything. So be aware that if they are perfect vanishing on you, you're playing into them. They're baiting a perfect vanish, and perfect vanishes are not dodgeable, and they're not respondable. You cannot respond to a perfect vanish. You can only respond to regular vanishes. So just be aware of that, Goku Black. You have to make sure that when you're playing, that you're not giving your opponent a perfect vanish. If you perfect vanish on them, that's great, but you need to know the sound. So if you hear them perfect vanish on you, you know you messed up. Let's see. Co-op equips are almost always base stat boost. Exactly. Yeah. I love Black Goku or Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta. Right now, Shu, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta is still better. For now, at least. Will it be good? Super 17 Z7. I would hope so. GT needs something good, so yeah, I hope he's good. He should be good for a Zenkai. If he's not good as a Zenkai, I would be Yikes, that's just yikes. That's a big yikes. He should be good. If he's not good, that's gonna be bad. I think Vegeta higher stars is better, but it depends on the opponent's team. His fusion's good because I have VB, Yellow, Vegito, and I'm hoping for Super Saiyan for Gogeta in the third Annie. Fusion's good? Yes, they're good. Are they top tier? No. There is a sound difference between a perfect vanish and a normal vanish. Exactly. So Docs, I'm not going to be sharing this on my Discord. This will be shared through this live stream. So in the description of every video, of every live video that I've done a document like this, you'll have access to it. So as soon as I make it public, you will all have access to this. All you got to do is go back to this. So if we go to YouTube real quick, and if I find my live stream, if I click on this real quick, there's a sound difference between. Oh my god, I don't want. This is too much. Then if you go here into this. So right now it says show less, but if you go here, I'm eventually going to put the link right here, and you just guys have to click it. You'll have access to it immediately. So yeah, there you go. I don't want to deal with that right now. So yeah, that's that. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go now. I think that's pretty much it. If there is anything else that you guys have as questions, please ask me in the DBL chat in the Discord. Or alternatively, just make a comment on one of my videos and ask me there. Or on here, actually, better to say. Ask me in the comments of the live stream, and I'll answer there. And have yourselves a great day, okay? Because I'm gonna go now. I gotta work and do those videos for you guys. And take a chill pill, because I have not eaten anything yet, and I need to eat. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, guys, because today's Friday. And, yeah, get ready, because I'm going to be releasing the green video either today or tomorrow. It's sorry for the lateness. I had 2 sick days from yesterday and today. I mean, no, yesterday and the day before. So, I'm starting to get myself back. And then that Rose Goku Black video is coming out most likely today. Fingers crossed. And we'll see. All right, guys. Take care. Have a great day. And I will see you guys later.